I know we are already a few days into March, but I wanted to talk about some books I'm excited that are coming out this month. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Victoria. Please consider subscribing down below and hitting that bell icon so that YouTube notifies you every time that I post, and give me a big thumbs up so that you let YouTube know that you like my content. But today, as I said before, we're going to be talking about 10 books that I am excited that are coming out in March. The first two are technically already out. We have already passed our first Tuesday of the month. And the first book that I'm going to talk about is one of my most anticipated releases that I think a lot of people are excited about. If you have ever seen this book before, you will know that Oathbound has already come out on March 4th. This is the third and possibly final book. I'm not sure if it's a trilogy or if there's going to be more, but this is going to be the third book in this series. We are following a young girl whose name is Bree Matthews, that after the unfortunate death of her mother, decides to go to a early college program at the University of North Carolina, where she finds out that she can be a part of this like King Arthur type society that is all about medieval England and Arthur's descendants. And book 3 just follows where we leave off in book 2. I absolutely love this series. I binged the first 2 books kind of right after one another. Surprisingly, I think I read them both in airports, oddly enough, from what I can remember, but they were chef's kiss. I absolutely adore this series. If you like dark academia, King Arthur retellings, this is definitely the series for you, and you should be excited that this third book is coming out. The next book that is already out, that came out on March 4th, is Spells, Strings, and Forgotten Things by Brianne Randall. This is the same author that wrote The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. I have yet to read this, but it has been on my shelves for a little bit, so hopefully I can get to this one as well. But in this one, to use your magic, you have to give up a memory, and the stronger you want your magic to be, the bigger the memory has to be. And this follows these group of sisters who are connected through their magic, but as they are using their magic and forgetting things, they are losing their connection to one another, and they have to decide whether or not that to save the town, as there is this big bad evil coming to want to destroy where they live. I really like witches and sisterly bonds and just a really unique magic system. So when it comes to having to know your payment for magic up front, because magic of course always has a cost, but then having it be a part of it where you forget so much that you forget the cost of the magic, you have me right there. This one I have to bring up my laptop for because I do not want to get anything wrong about it, because when I found out about this book, I absolutely needed to tell the other people about it. I am a very proud Latina, and so I want to be reading as many Latina books as I can. One of the books that I absolutely loved from last year was Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and I have been trying to search for a book that made me feel that way, that not only gave me some part of like my Mexican culture, but added some fantastical elements as well. And so I just found out about Malinali. If I'm saying that incorrectly, feel terrible about it. But by Veronica Chapa. This follows a real life historical figure that they add a little fantastical retelling to. And she is the native woman who helps Hernan Cortes with essentially the conquering of Mexico from Spain. So there are people who believe that she is a traitor because she essentially helped with the conquering of Mexico. But the people who saw her coming and marching with these quote-unquote white men saw her as divine. And so you have those two different layers. And in this one, she is both. You get to it says, in this riveting, fantastic retelling, Molly Nally is all of those things and more. But at heart, she's a young girl kidnapped into slavery at age 12 and fighting to survive the devastation wrought by both the Spanish and Moctezuma's greed and cruelty. Blessed with magical powers and supported by a close-knit circle of priestesses, Molly vows to help defend her people's legacy. In vivid, compelling prose, debut author Veronica Chapa spells an epic tale of magic, sisterhood, survival, and Mexican resilience. This is the first novel to reimagine and reinterpret Molly Nally's story with the empathy, humanity, and the awe she always deserved. I am so incredibly excited about this. I normally don't reach for historical fiction, but when it has a magical element to it, I will be more inclined to pick it up, and hopefully this will introduce me to her and her story, and I'll want to learn more of the actual historical references that she comes from. On a completely separate vein, the same day, coming out March 11th as Molly Nally, we have the second book in the Nightmare Before Christmas, or it's called the Royals and Romance series, which is Go Luck Yourself by Sarah Rosh. I absolutely devoured this book. I read it in a one car ride. We were driving back from Michigan after Christmas. I absolutely adored this book so much. This follows the Crown Prince of Christmas and the Crown Prince of Halloween and their love story with one another, while Go Luck Yourself follows the Spare Prince of Christmas and the Crown Prince of St. Patrick's Day. I need this in my hand. I am gonna be going to the store hopefully this weekend, but I know that this book isn't out yet, which means I'm gonna have to go again because this book needs to be in my hands. This is one of my favorite books of last year. I need the next one yesterday. The next book coming out on March 11th is My Big Fat Fake Marriage. I absolutely loved the title when I was looking up March releases, and not only do I love a fake dating trope, do I love where they're trying to find how they can not necessarily scheme the people around them, but make something work when they just need something to work in their lives. This is absolutely what is happening with this book. There is let me grab my laptop. So we follow a woman named Connie and a man named Beck, Beck, in a moment of panic, he has to tell the publishing house that he is married, and he has already confided in Connie that he has been single his entire life. And so Connie comes and sweeps in and says, yeah, I'm his wife. And so they decide to have a fake marriage. So it's not even fake dating, they are fake being married and having to push that on to the people around them. And there is the one bed trope. I always love the one bed trope. I am super excited for this. I love a plus size character. This cover is adorable. I need it. Next is one of people's most anticipated books of the past decade. It will be coming out March 18th, which is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I have unfortunately not picked up Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is very unfortunate for me, but that's because I really want to reread the series. And so I feel like at this point I need to wait for this book to come out so I can just binge the entire world and feel like I've just fallen back into it. I was the hugest Hunger Games fan when all of these books were coming out. I absolutely adore them. I even had like a Hunger Games pin at one point. But I'm so excited for Haymitch's story. I loved him as a character, but it's been so long that I only remember him in movie form, which is so devastating because I loved that series so much. So to give these entire series justice, I need to do an entire reread before I get to this one. The next book coming out on March 18th is called Early 30s. This follows two friends, Zoe and Victor, and their life in New York City. They are getting into their early 30s and feel like life is just leaving them behind. They had their wild 20s and feel like they are drastically shifting into their 30s and just not feeling like their relationship and their friendship is going to last. And so I know that I'm getting closer and closer to 30 as the years go on, of course. And I am already feeling that with some of my friendships through college. Like, I'm feeling that disconnect from people that I thought were going to be lifelong friends. And I can definitely relate with this book, and I hope that it'll break my heart, to be honest. And I'm ready for it to come out. Another one that I am very, very excited about is for Alex Astor's adult debut novel, which is Summer in the City. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. I love the additions that we're getting. They are chef's kiss. I'm just so excited. I have read every published book that she has for Lightlark series as of right now, and I have The Curse of the Night Witch, which is one of her middle grade books, on my 25 books to read in 2025, so I desperately need to get her other book in my hands. I absolutely adore her writing, and so I'm excited to not only read a book about a screenwriter named Elle who has the chance of a lifetime to write a big budget movie, but she has writer's block. So she has to go back to the city where she said she was never going to go back to, which was New York City, and she ends up being neighbors with the billionaire bachelor who ends up needing a buzzy new relationship, and they find out that they can help one another, one with their writer's block, and two with being in a fake relationship. Do you see a pattern? I like fake dating. So I'm very, very excited for this book. I love books that are set in New York. I know that I am not a person who visits New York very often, so this is a way for me to explore the city, and then hopefully when I get to visit again someday, that I'm able to recognize some places through the books that I read. The next book coming out on March 25th, the same as Summer in the City, is When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi. This is definitely a weird book. I have already read a book by John Scalzi before. It was Red Shirts. That was one of the funniest books that I have ever read, because it's essentially a spoof on Star Trek, and I definitely was not expecting it. But imagine about writing a book when the moon actually turns to cheese and the repercussions of that. John Scalzi definitely writes books about scientific questions that nobody really wanted answered, or nobody ever really thought to ask. So we'll see where we end up going with this wacky story. And the 10th and final book that I am so excited for to be coming out is coming out on March 27th, which is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. I had originally seen this book on TikTok, so when I was looking up March releases, I didn't realize it was actually coming out in March. But this is described as the invisible life of Addie LaRue meets This Is How We Lose the Time War, which I have already read. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I started This Is How We Lose the Time War, but that was definitely a book that I was going to need to read physically, and I only had the audiobook at the time, so I need to definitely pick it up. But they've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. That was a tagline that I saw on TikTok, and I was like, speechless. I absolutely need this book. They are fated to fall in love with each other in every single lifetime, but they are also fated to kill each other in every one. That is the most amazing concept that I think I have ever heard when it comes to like a fated relationship or a fated mates type of story. And I need it. It can't come out at the end of the month. I need it now. I'm just gah. If you know any more books that are coming out in the month of March, please comment down below and let me know, because I definitely need to add more to my TBR. Who are we kidding? But thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, leave me a stack of books emoji, because we can never be adding too many books to our stacks. Bye!